Hello, I'm back. Woo, woo. Okay, whatever. So I haven't done one of these where I talk about it. Hang on. This is not meant to be like that. It's meant to be up a little bit more. There we go. I haven't done one of these things where I talk about a movie. I haven't done one of those in a long time. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do today. And today we are talking about Joker. I really wanted to talk about this movie because I saw it and I really loved it. I think it's one of the best comic book movies ever made, and I really think it has some. I think that it has a lot of stuff to say about not, I wouldn't say mental illness, but how something like this can. So you'll get my point later when I'm talking about the movie. But yeah, this is gonna be spoiler filled. So if you don't want to, if you haven't seen the Joker, go. If you haven't seen Joker, go see it. And this is gonna be spoiler filled. So if you don't want to get spoiled, I would click off this video. And if you do want to get spoiled, or if you don't care, I stick around. I don't care. So yeah, the first thing I want to talk about is. I want to talk about the relationship between him and his mother. And by the way, this isn't going to be a play-by-play, like scene-by-scene of the movie. It's just going to be me talking about what I liked and what I didn't like, which is very little stuff. I really liked this movie, so I'm just going to talk about what I like. And at the end, I might talk about some of the controversy that surrounds this movie, because this movie has generated quite a bit of controversy. I didn't want to use the same word twice in that one sentence, but I guess I did. So yeah. I want to talk about him and his mother, because he and his mother have a really interesting relationship. So early on in the film, we find out, or not early on, about in the middle of the film, we find out that his mother is batshit crazy, that she is weird, and she's actually not his real mother. He's adopted. Basically, he finds out that he's adopted when his mother he finds a letter that she was going to send to Thomas Wayne that says, basically asking him for money and to pay attention to them because he, meaning Arthur, really needs a father figure. And so he goes to the Wayne Mansion, and he goes to the Wayne Mansion and gets shooed away by Alfred, which gives us that really creepy scene with Bruce Wayne where he's doing magic for him and he's sticking his fingers in his mouth. So he gets shooed away by Alfred. Then he confronts Thomas Wayne in the bathroom at a Charlie Chaplin movie, and basically Thomas Wayne in this movie is played off as a huge douchebag, man. Like, he punches Arthur in the face and basically says, no, you're adopted. And so Arthur goes to Arkham State Hospital and steals the medical records for him that are about him. And he finds out that Penny Fleck is not his real mother, that she adopted him. And that he was also abused by Penny's boyfriend, like tied to a radiator, starved, beaten, stuff like that. And that's sort of the breaking point for him. Previously in the film, we've seen him have, like, he's a real mama's boy earlier in the film. He cares for his mother, he feeds her, he dances with her, he has fun, and he's just really good to his mother. But then you get this total shift in character when he goes back to his mother's room, and he has a very fun, no, I'm just kidding, not fun. He suffocates his mother with a pillow, because this is after she had like some sort of aneurysm or seizure or something. He suffocates his mother with a pillow and in the hospital. And I feel like that is when this character, the Joker, was kind of, this is a huge step in the way, in the right direction to where he was headed for the Joker. I feel like the moment that he truly became the Joker was on the talk show, which I will talk about in a couple minutes. The next thing I want to talk about is the subway murders. So earlier in the movie, Joker's given a handgun, a revolver, from one of his coworkers, and he goes and that's after he basically goes, here, you need this to protect yourself, and so Arthur takes it, and then later in the movie he's performing at a children's hospital, and the gun slides out of his pocket, and it's actually a really funny moment. It's a really funny moment of humor. It's a really funny moment of like humor, and you're like really uncomfortable and stuff, and it's just so awkward. But he gets fired for that. Obviously, he gets fired, and yeah. So his day is not going well. He's on the subway. He's on the subway home from work. And these three guys start picking on him. These three guys start singing to him and sort of slapping him, and then it escalates to them beating the crap out of him. And this is when he fully started his transformation to the Joker from Arthur. You want to see him win this. You want to see Arthur, you're such a loser. You need to win this. But on the other side, you're like, I don't want him to win this. And it's really, really... this movie plays with you, and I like that it plays with you. So these guys are beating the shit out of him, and all of a sudden you hear bang, and one of the guy's head just explodes, like the back of his head just explodes, and he falls to the ground. And then you hear another bang, bang, and then this other guy, the back of his head just explodes, and blood goes up on the side of the subway train. And then the other guy, there are three guys, and the other guy starts running through the different trains. He starts running from one to the next, and he's screaming because he shot back, and Arthur literally fired back. He killed the two guys, and then there's this is my favorite scene. I have two favorite scenes in the movie. This is one of them. The subway murders. So basically, he has this sort of kind of cat and mouse chase with this guy. Basically, they're poking their heads in and out of the subway cars to see if like one of them's running down the platform, and because this train by now has come to a stop. And so and then he sees the guy running out, and Arthur comes up and he starts shooting at him. And the guy falls down, and you're like, and just a second ago, this is what I mean when I say this movie plays with you. Because just a second ago, you want to see these guys get what they deserve, because I'll come back to that line in a little bit. You want to see them get what they deserve, because they're being some pretty dickheads to Arthur. And so yeah, and then Arthur shoots him in the back, and he falls down, and you're like, oh, I didn't actually want this. I feel bad for this guy, because he's screaming and he's trying to crawl away. And then Arthur follows up with two more shots, I think, and he goes and shoots him. He empties the round on him. He shoots him. I think how many rounds are there in the revolver? I don't even know. I don't know guns. He shoots the rest of the round into him until it goes click click, and so yeah, and those are the three subway murders that ignite basically this whole movie, because Thomas Wayne called on TV. I think he called them clowns. And so the lower class of the city, clowns, and basically that starts the whole movement where people are dressing up in clown masks, and they get inspired by these subway murders because those guys were two Wall Street like higher ups that Arthur killed. So that's sort of a one step in the direction of the class warfare that happens in this movie. So yeah, Arthur goes on to do his stuff. A couple more things I want to talk about. I want to talk about, this is like I said, this is just the things that I like in the movie, because I like a lot of things in the movie. This is going to be a pretty short video. Oh, it's already 8 minutes long. Oh wow. So yeah, I like that. This is the scene. I feel like we didn't get a whole lot of Joker. I feel like we got now listen to me. I feel like we didn't get a whole lot of full-on Joker. I felt like we got a lot of Arthur, and a lot of Arthur transforming into the Joker, and then in the last 20 minutes we got full-on Joker. Everything after when he kills his friend, the coworker who gave him the gun in his apartment, everything after that I feel like is full-on Joker. So he gets on the talk show that he wants to be on, Robert De Niro's Murray Franklin talk show. He finally gets on there after a clip he played of his stand-up. He did stand-up earlier in the movie, and it did not go so well. He couldn't get his jokes out because of his laugh, and yeah. And so Murray Franklin just flat out roasted him live on TV before he made it on the show. And then because the reception for that clip was so good, he wanted Arthur to come onto the show. And so Arthur comes on, dons full makeup, kills his friend, and throughout the whole movie, there are suggestions that he's going to kill himself on live TV. Earlier in the movie, when he's talking to one of his neighbors, she mimes like that. She mimes killing herself, and he goes pow. So yeah, and then later in the movie you see him like with the gun, and he goes like, not actually, but it doesn't shoot, but he has it like, I don't know, so it doesn't shoot. And then this is the part where I feel like lots of people have a problem with this movie. I don't have a problem with this scene. I think it's a great scene, a a great, excellently shot scene and excellently performed scene by Joaquin Phoenix. Joaquin Phoenix, by the way, does an amazing job in this movie. But I feel like this is the scene where I felt like people. This is where they got the part. This is where they got their ideas of, oh, Joker's going to cause mass shootings, or Joker's going to cause tragedies or something like that, or stuff like that. I've only read a couple articles like that. Only a few articles I've read about that. I've read some other articles about Joker that are just about separate things. But yeah, this is where I feel like Joker's gonna. This is where I feel like the movie caused the most controversy. So he's on the talk show. He's telling his jokes. None of them are landing, and basically his conversation crescendos as he admits to killing the three people on the subway, and I think he admits to killing his mother in the TV show. I'm not sure. I saw it a couple days ago. It's Thursday when I'm recording this, and I think I saw it on Sunday. So I think he admits to killing his mother. I don't know. Don't quote me on that, but I think he admits to killing his mother. Then this is the quote that I think a lot of people will have a problem with. He says to Murray Franklin, he goes, I want to tell you one last joke. And at this time, Murray's like really concerned. He goes, no, call the police. He's telling his offstage people, call the police. And Arthur goes, what do you get when you cross a mentally ill loner with a society that abandons him and treats him like trash? And he goes, I'll tell you what you get. And he says, you get what you fucking deserve. And he pulls out his gun and shoots Murray on live TV. And that totally caught me off guard, because I was totally ready to see him kill himself on TV. But no, he shoots Murray. And that is actually a really good plot twist. And I feel like that quote perfectly describes the Joker in this movie. And I also feel like this gives, if the wrong person were to misinterpret this message, bad shit could happen. Because basically, from what I'm getting from that quote, is him saying, basically, the unintended message in this movie. I'm not saying the filmmakers were. That's what I say, unintended. The filmmakers were not trying to justify school shootings or mass shootings or people who end up killing people because their lives are bad or whatever. I think that the unintentional message in this movie is basically, if your life is messed up enough, and if you're bullied and beaten down enough, and if you have mental illness, not saying that not saying that all people with mental illness are like this, but I'm just saying that if you're under the circumstances of Arthur, which I'm sure a lot of people are under the circumstances of Arthur, I'm sure a lot of people have depression, have anxiety, have had bad parents, and are just beaten down by society. And I feel like the unintentional message of this movie was, if you're under the circumstances that Arthur is under, then that gives you the right to go out and kill people, which it doesn't. It doesn't give you the right to kill people. That's the fault in this movie that's the one and only fault in this movie that I can think of, is the accidental justification of these actions. And and there's one more thing I need to talk about that sort of connects to this one. So after this, he comes up to he leaves the talk show, and this is where we get full on Joker. He's out in the streets. He gets arrested by cops. He gets arrested. And then he gets broken out of the cop car. He's in the back of the cop car, and then an ambulance crashes into it. And people see, oh, that's the guy on TV. That's the guy who shot Murray. Oh, that's the one. And so they take him, and they lift him, and he has this like Jesus pose where he's like, oh. He's like lying like this, and they're all carrying him, and they put him on top of a car, and then he just starts dancing, and he's like, I don't know, that was stupid. He just starts dancing on top of the car, and this is where I'm sorry I said, and this isn't a scene, this is more of an image. He sees that he is bleeding from his mouth, and he takes the blood, and he goes like, he does the smile, and that's brilliant. He has the blood in his mouth, and he takes, I think it's 2 fingers, and he goes, and he does the smile, and it goes all the way up here, and that is just really brilliant imagery, a good nod to Heath Ledger, and it's just really creepy. And this is another part, people are like cheering for him, and they're like screaming, and I feel like that is another thing. You don't want to put in people's heads that if they kill people or if they become mass murderers, they're going to be somehow admired. That's another dangerous thing that I don't want this movie to put in, because if the wrong person misinterprets this movie, bad shit could happen, like I said before. And yeah, those are basically the big things that I loved about this movie. I also loved the humor. This movie is surprisingly funny for how dark it is. If you want me to talk more about the humor in Joker, or I want to do more videos about Joker because I love this movie, and I feel like there's a lot to be said about it. So if you want me to do more videos on Joker, just tell me, and I probably will. So yeah, now I want to talk about some of the controversy. I don't have that much to say on the controversy because I haven't read as much into it as I would like to, but I think I read into it enough as to form an opinion on some of what people are saying about this movie. I read a couple articles and I saw a video by, oh god, for the love of Christ, I can't remember where I saw it, but it was someone complaining about someone reviewing this movie, and they were not complaining, but they were pointing out how, like, the ultra violence in Joker, and when I heard that, I was like, okay, alright. And I fully went into this movie expecting to see some effed up shit. I was expecting to see people's heads getting cut off and stuff like that, or Joker, like, a Dark Knight reference to them cutting a smile into his face. I don't even know. But it's not that graphic. I mean, yeah, there's some blood. There's blood coming out of people's heads, but that's not as graphic as Deadpool or something. There have been way more graphic films that have come out. Deadpool, sorry. Like the John Wick movies, like the Saw movies, stuff like that. Some of the really graphic superhero movies or action movies and stuff like that. The movie Kick-Ass is pretty gory. I have some news about Kick-Ass. I have some stuff to say about Kick-Ass at the end of this video. But yeah, I didn't agree with that. I also saw this other article. I'm not going to go into it because I haven't read the whole article. I think someone was reading it to me, and I read about a third of it, which they read to me, and they were talking about race in this movie. And I'm going to reread the article, and if you want me to talk about it, I will definitely talk about it because that's something I strongly disagree with. Basically, they were saying if he was black, this whole movie wouldn't happen. They were saying how if he was black, basically he'd just get beaten down and thrown in jail, but instead he got admired by these guys, and I really disagree with that. It was by the New York Times, I believe, but I'll get into that in a different video. Yeah, that's basically all I wanted to talk about with Joker, and I can't really, I sort of ran out of stuff to talk about. This video is 17 minutes long, holy crap. Wow, wow. Alright, so that's gonna do it for this video. Make sure to comment and tell me if you like this video, because I really like talking about movies. I'll talk about It Chapter 2 later this weekend. I have a 4-day weekend going on, because I get Saturday, Sunday, and then Columbus Day is Monday, and then my school has Professional Development Day. So I'll pump out a couple more videos this weekend. I'll talk about It Chapter 2, hopefully, and then I want to do another Failure Friday, which is tomorrow. Holy crap, tomorrow's Friday. I swear to you guys that I'm going to do a Failure Friday tomorrow. So yeah, that's basically it, and I hope you enjoy this video. And if you haven't, go see Joker. Joker's really good. And yeah, I feel like some of the controversy, some of it is just laughable at this point, because if they're worried about this movie, I'm gonna make this one last point and then I'm gonna stop. You know, if they're worried about violence in this movie, no one exploded over the violence in Deadpool and stuff like that. All right, that's it. I'm gonna stop. So this video is I don't want this video to be 20 minutes long. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Figures will be on the way soon. I have a Joker figure that I'm going to showcase this weekend. I'm working on Kick-Ass figures. That's what I want to say about Kick-Ass. And yeah, that's basically it. And I will see you guys later. Bye. No, not yet. If you couldn't tell, I moved, and my place where I'm recording my videos is a lot nicer now. I have a shelf with everything on it. So yeah, that's where I am right now, and now I will go. I don't want this video to be 20 minutes long. I will see you guys later, and that's basically it. I hope you guys like this video. Bye.